Exploring Meta's Llama API, open weights for enterprise freedom. Meta has unveiled a preview version of an API for its Llama large language models. The new offering will transform Meta's popular open-source models into an enterprise-ready service directly challenging established players like OpenAI while addressing a key concern for enterprise adopters: freedom from vendor lock-in. Greyhound Research Chief Analyst Sanchit Gogia said, "They're shifting the battlefield from model quality alone to inference cost, openness, and hardware advantage." Greyhound's Gogia said that Meta's strategic tie-ups with Groq and Cerebras to support the Llama AI mark a decisive pivot in the LLM-as-a-Service market. Meta's Llama API presents a fundamentally different proposition for enterprise AI builders. It's not just a tool, but a philosophy shift, Gogia noted. Unlike proprietary APIs from OpenAI or Anthropic, which bind developers into opaque pricing, closed weights, and restrictive usage rights, Llama offers openness, modularity, and the freedom to choose one's own inference stack. As quoted in Infoworld.com, in an article authored by Gyana Swain published on April 30th, 2025. Additional comments by Greyhound Research Analyst. Meta's Llama API and Groq-Cerebras alliance redefine competitive dynamics in LLM-as-a-Service. Greyhound Flashpoint. Meta's release of the Llama API and strategic tie-ups with Groq and Cerebras mark a decisive pivot in the LLM-as-a-Service market, shifting the battlefield from model quality alone to inference cost, openness, and hardware advantage. According to the Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 43% of global technology leaders are actively exploring alternatives to the big three LLM stacks, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, due to cost opacity and closed-loop architectures. Meta's latest move resonates with this demand for modular, composable AI services. At Greyhound Research, we believe this is less about catching up with ChatGPT and more about re-architecting the commercial logic of foundation models. Greyhound Standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, Meta's Llama API strategy, paired with high-performance inference hardware from Groq and Cerebras, is a direct challenge to the economic chokehold of current LLM-as-a-Service leaders. The dominance of OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google has rested on vertically integrated offerings where model development, inference, and ecosystem lock-in reinforce each other. Meta's alternative, unbundle the stack. By offering open weights, flexible APIs, and enabling third-party inference on silicon optimized for throughput and latency, Meta shifts focus to cost efficiency at scale. This isn't merely technical innovation, it's business model disruption. In markets like Asia, LATAM, and Eastern Europe, where LLM economics remain a barrier to enterprise adoption, this stack offers a viable, sovereign-aligned alternative. The playbook is now about who controls inference efficiency and deployment flexibility, not just who builds the biggest model. Greyhound Pulse Insight. Findings from the Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 revealed that 58% of enterprise AI leaders across EMEA and APAC rank inference cost and hardware compatibility as top concerns in LLM deployment. Among these, 31% flag the current offerings from OpenAI and Google as cost-prohibitive for production-scale rollouts. Importantly, 26% of those surveyed expressed interest in leveraging open-weight models on third-party silicon to meet data sovereignty, TCO, and latency goals. Meta's strategic pivot aligns closely with this sentiment, offering an alternative path that privileges customizability, workload control, and independence from hyperscaler APIs. In AI-native sectors like financial services, manufacturing, and telecoms, we're seeing real traction for this stack, especially when paired with enterprise fine-tuning needs. Greyhound Field Note. Per a recent Greyhound Field Note from a banking innovation team in Southeast Asia, the firm piloted both OpenAI's GPT-4 API and Meta's Llama 2 running on Groq hardware for its generative document analysis project. While GPT-4 delivered superior few-shot performance, latency and cost to serve became bottlenecks beyond prototyping. In contrast, the Groq-accelerated Llama setup demonstrated linear cost scaling and sub-10 millisecond response times, critical for compliance workflows. Despite early success, integration friction with enterprise security standards and uncertainty around Meta's long-term model support remain concerns. Still, for enterprises seeking LLM optionality without hyperscaler entanglement, this stack is emerging as a compelling counterweight. Similar evaluations are underway across regulated sectors, including healthcare and defense, where vendor independence and deterministic pricing models are non-negotiable. Meta's Llama API offers a customizable path to scalable, enterprise-grade AI applications. Greyhound Flashpoint. Meta's Llama API presents a fundamentally different proposition for enterprise AI builders. It's not just a tool, but a philosophy shift. Unlike proprietary APIs from OpenAI or Anthropic, which bind developers into opaque pricing, closed weights, and restrictive usage rights, Llama offers openness, modularity, and the freedom to choose one's own inference stack. According to the Greyhound Developer Pulse 2025, 48% of enterprise-grade developers cite lock-in and lack of customizability as top deterrents in adopting current LLM APIs. With Llama, the road to AI-native application stacks becomes more flexible and, crucially, more affordable. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, the Llama API isn't merely a counterpoint to OpenAI or Claude. It's a new design surface for AI-first enterprise architectures. Where proprietary APIs offer out-of-the-box performance, they limit adaptability and ownership. Llama, conversely, invites developers to treat the model as infrastructure, fine-tune it, host it on their hardware of choice, or pair it with high-efficiency silicon like Groq or Cerebras. This extensibility matters deeply to enterprise CTOs and product teams trying to align AI investments with their own regulatory, budgetary, and customer experience mandates. From internal copilots to external-facing AI agents, the future of enterprise AI hinges on controllability, and Llama is positioning itself as the foundation for that future. In a market where governance, cost, and compliance define success, Meta's open-weight approach offers developers the latitude to scale without compromise. Greyhound Pulse Insight. The Greyhound Developer Pulse 2025 shows that 62% of enterprise developers prefer LLM APIs that support on-premise deployment or hybrid execution. Among this cohort, 41% have delayed AI product launches due to constraints around API rate limits, unpredictable pricing, or inability to customize outputs. Issues particularly acute in verticals like law, finance, and telecom. When asked about Meta's Llama API, 54% indicated interest in piloting it, citing alignment with DevSecOps controls and ML pipeline interoperability. This sentiment was strongest in markets like India, Germany, and Brazil, where digital sovereignty and vendor optionality are not just desirable, they're mandated. Greyhound Field Note. Per a recent Greyhound Field Note from a leading telecom operator in Brazil, the firm began migrating its customer service assistant from GPT-4 to Llama 2 via an internal deployment powered by Cerebras. The motivation was not just cost, it was compliance. Internal audits flagged concerns over transmitting sensitive PII to third-party US endpoints. With Llama, the team could run inference entirely within their sovereign data centers while maintaining performance thresholds required for real-time voice-to-text interactions. The transition surfaced early-stage challenges around prompt tuning and hallucination mitigation, but the payoffs were clear. Full-stack ownership, predictable cost control, and an AI product pipeline now certified for regulatory readiness. Similar evaluations are being undertaken in public sector agencies and large healthcare providers across the EU and ASEAN, where Llama's openness maps directly to both policy and performance requirements. Analyst in focus, Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CXOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thofker.com.